The common cold, also known as the flu, is a viral infection that usually affects your nose and your throat. You know, the common cold is caused by a virus called rhinoviruses. They are the major ones that cause it. Then you have things like adenovirus, respiratory syncytial virus. Then things like coronavirus can also lead to the flu or the common cold. Now, it usually develops within 1 to 2. When you get infected, it takes 1 to 3 days for it to develop. And when it develops, it runs its course for like 7 days. Then it stops without you taking any medication, because it's a viral infection. So it usually resolves on its own. But the symptoms are very worrisome, which is why we are doing this video. The symptoms are things like sneezes, when you are having cough, when you are having a mild headache, when you are having a low-grade fever. The fever I discussed in my earlier video, that is less than 38 degrees centigrade. This is the kind of fever you have in the common cold. Then when you have things like breathlessness, these are some of the symptoms. They can be very worrisome, especially the nasal congestion. So when you have nasal congestion, of course, you know it impacts your day. It worries you. It makes you not to work effectively. So that is why you need to do things like steam inhalation. You need to do things like using nasal congestants. You can use anti-inflammatory drugs, because it's not a bacterial infection. If you use antibiotics, it will not work. But if it lasts more than 7 days, then there may be a secondary bacterial infection, which you have to treat with an antibiotic. Then the transmission, because the common cold, the virus that causes the common cold is highly contagious. And transmission is either from hand to mouth, or hand to nose, or hand to eyes. So when you touch contaminated surfaces, or you shake someone and you didn't sanitize your hand, or you didn't wash your hands, then you can acquire the virus. It takes 1 to 3 days for it to develop. Then after 7 days, it resolves on its own. So we advise you to do steam inhalation. We advise you to use your hand when you are sneezing. Use your elbow to sneeze. When you are coughing, use a handkerchief. You know, practice good hygiene so that you minimize the spread of such viruses. Then in order to boost your immunity so that you don't contact such diseases all the time, you have to take things like ginger, things like turmeric. These are the herbal things that help. Then you can do exercise, because exercise is very good in boosting your immunity. I remain Dr. Nwiche Frederick. Investment in your health is your wisest decision.